Well, we've been waiting and waiting, for the house. And if the weather holds out, supposedly they're going to start the dirt work next week. So I wanted to show you. I don't know if we're going to have a garden this year because it's getting so late and the house was delayed, but we'll show you where it's going to go. The house will be up in this area on top of this hill. And if you look over this way, there's what's left of one brush pile from one of the ponds. And the garden area will eventually be here. Let's go over there and take a look. So we plan to have a fenced in area with several raised beds and maybe some in-ground plants toward the back. Now, it's going to be bigger than what I'm walking off here, but it gives you an idea of where the garden area is going to be. And it looks like Mosley is going to enjoy it too. Well, the pond's holding water. I wonder if I could talk Missy into taking a little swim.
Hello there, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're semi-homesteaders.
So, we've been talking about building the homestead and building our house, right? Well, we had a terrible tornado come through Selmer, Tennessee, our town, really bad. And so the build may be delayed a little bit longer. So what do you do if you can't start a real garden? Well, there are options, and we're going to talk about one of those options today.
One of those options is grow bags. I don't know if you're familiar with these. Maybe you've already been using them. If so, feel free to comment any kind of tips. But this is what we did a few of these last year. And so we just talked about it and we thought, you know what, we don't want to miss another growing season because we love to have the fresh vegetables. And so as you can see, there's a few things here that we'll talk about in a minute, but these have worked out really well for us. And so we just thought that it would be great for us to come on here, show you how we do this. Maybe you don't have a lot of ground space. Maybe you're in an apartment. You can grow vegetables and herbs anywhere you are. And this is one way to do that.
That's right. We've done other container gardening. We did the plastic 5-gallon buckets, and those things work okay. There are other things you can do. But these grow bags that Missy was talking about, they're actually made out of a fabric, a polypropylene.
This is almost like a felt too.
Polypropylene felt. And what that does is it allows the roots to breathe. Whereas, your plastic buckets don't necessarily do that. Have you ever pulled a plant out of the plastic buckets and the roots are just wound up in there? They never stop growing. That can become problematic. It can actually kill the plant, right? If the roots get too long.
Yes, and that's what's great about these is because this is what's called air pruning. So the air is going to prune the roots naturally. So you won't have that at all to worry about when you use these grow bags. So that's really awesome.
And I'm going to throw this in there. We got these last year. We got several of them. The ones we showed you and will show you, they're from last year. They made it through the whole winter. My first concern when we got these was this stuff's going to get wet and it's just going to come all to pieces. And when you go to pick these handles up, they're just going to, the bottom's going to fall out. That could not be further from the truth. These had been outside the entire last summer, the entire winter, and they are still just as strong. I can pick those up. Matter of fact, I moved a couple of these over here today, and they're just as strong as they were when we first got them out of the package. So I can't say enough good about these.
But now that you mentioned that is one of the downsides of the grow bags. They're a little messy because as you can see, okay, this is the water and dirt is going to come through this because it's porous. So it is going to be a little messy. You're going to have a water leakage if it rains or when you water them. You know, you may have some dirt that comes out. So of course you're going to be outside, but if you're on a patio or a deck or something, you might want to put something down, like some pallets, or you know, it just something to where it's not going to hurt whatever you're putting, the surface that you have it sitting on.
Right.
Because that is one of the downsides, is that it is a little bit messy, but it's a very small price to pay for the results that you're going to receive.
To your point, hon, it is messy if you have a deck or a patio or something like that. We have them sitting on the ground.
Yeah, we
So
did.
it wasn't an issue for us.
And that's awesome. Another great thing about these is they're portable. So that way, you know what, maybe you need to move them around. You know, you can chase the sun, so to say.
That's true.
You can put these wherever you need to put them. We did have to move ours. We noticed last year, like, wow, they're kind of growing, but we're not getting any blooms. And for those that don't know, the blooms mean this is going to be a fruit or a vegetable. So you want blooms. And so Kyle actually, I think, was like, you know what? Where we have them, they're not getting a whole lot of sun.
They were getting too much shade from the house.
Yeah.
And we had them too close to the house on this side. So we just moved them out into the yard a ways, and
wow.
Perfect.
Yes. Blooms, blooms, blooms. Okay, so let's go
Enough
ahead.
talkity talk.
Yeah, and let's get started so you can kind of see this process. It's not hard. It's very simple. The main thing you want to do is you do want to mix up a few different things in your soil.
Yep. Go ahead and tell them about the compost.
Okay. About 20% of your mixture, you want it to be compost. Now, normally we would have our own compost that we have made, you know, like with our scraps and with, you know, eggshells and just all that, coffee grounds, all that good stuff. But we don't have any of that here. We had to buy some, and that's no problem. You know, you could do the same thing. So about 20% or so is going to be compost. And then you're going to do your potting soil, of course, and it kind of depends on how large of a bag you have, because I don't think we said, but these do come in a whole lot of various sizes. A lot larger than this, or you can go smaller than this. So you want to have your potting soil. That's kind of like the filler, because then you're going to want to do around 30% of perlite, which is something that's going to give it some space. I was always taught perlite, but I worked at a nursery for 3 years, and that's what they said. But you know what? Who knows? It's whatever. However you want to pronounce it. Perlite. It's Perlite, I think. And what you want that for is that is going to help control your moisture.
Okay.
It's going to.
Well, how much of this put in?
You know, about, that's probably good. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah.
I think that meant stop.
Too much.
I think that meant stop. So we'll just give it a little
Just mix that up good.
mix.
And I am going to set this right there.
Okay.
This is just kind of a more up close version here of the bag, what the inside looks like, what the bottom looks like.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah,
Little extra
lovely.
leaf in there.
Yeah, see how the white, you know, the perlite.
Perlite.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Those little white things.
Yeah.
After you get a few scoops in there, it'll stay open itself, but when you first start. Okay, so if all this is kind of new to you and you're wondering where in the world can I find these bags? If you live in a large city, you know, you probably could find them at a nursery or something. But no worries if you don't. We will have all the links for you in the description, because the grow bags, even stuff like this, depending on where you live, the perlite, it might be a little difficult to find. Maybe not, I don't know. But all of this stuff can be purchased online. So don't panic about that. You will be able to find all of it.
our handy dandy little table we got from Amazon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this has been a lifesaver. We got this little table whenever we were in the camper, and we could use it to eat on, to play games on, to put the computers on, you know, just whatever. Okay, so when you have your soil in there, you want to make sure that sometimes there's some big clumps. Just kind of break up your clumps and make sure when you look at it, it looks like you have a pretty good mixture. You can tell. You can see the white all speckled in there. So the perlite is pretty much, I think that's a good amount. We're just showing you with just one today. And you can only do like one seed per bag because they need room to grow. If you put too many in a bag, trust me, I learned this the hard way. One time, I think, what did I do?
Tomatoes.
4 seeds in one bag. Well, it was actually a 5-gallon bucket.
And they just choked each other out.
Oh, they did. Yeah. They tried so hard to live. This is an heirloom seed. This is one of the things I love. This is called a spoon tomato. And so it is, look at that. These are going to be little bitty, kind of like cherry tomatoes. I did want to point out, if you're going to do this type of planting, you can start these in your house early, you know, like in little Dixie cups or egg cartons. But you can start them early if you don't want to start them from seed. Then you, out here in the grow bag, you can start them from a little plant.
Yeah, you can see them there.
See all
They're
those?
They're so tiny.
And it's like, surely it takes more than one, but it doesn't.
It doesn't.
So what you want to do is come right in the middle, and you only want to do about 1/8. You want to plant them about 1/8 of an inch deep, which is not deep at all. So you're going to take one of your little seeds, and you're going to drop it right down in there. Don't pack it. Just lightly cover that seed up with your soil. And then you're going to put the rest of these in there. That's why with only one, you could do 2, but I don't know. That's up to you. You can try it. You can do it. So, you know, you can kind of get an idea of how many bags you decide what you want to have. Then you can determine how many bags you're going to need by that. So we probably will do at least 1, maybe 2 more bags of tomatoes. And then we love jalapeno peppers. Our peppers did so good last year. We'll probably do a bag of those. What else, babe?
Yeah, the jalapenos, they just produced and produced.
And they were little, but they were so
they
good.
Were good, yeah.
Let's see what else. Tomatoes, jalapeno peppers.
Well, we had
cabbage. That's more of a spring and
that actually came back this year.
Yeah, it did. But right now, we're going to plant tomatoes. And the peppers. We'll probably plant some type of a squash, like a zucchini, and maybe a cucumber, and maybe carrots. I don't know, we'll see. But as you can tell, we have all kinds of seeds here. Oh, we will do this. I do want to do some green onions, some type of onion, and green onions do really well in grow bags. So we'll probably do one with onions. But we just wanted to show you, this is how easy it is. You're going to take this bag, you're going to place it in the sun, and you're going to water it. Okay, one thing I forgot to talk about was I didn't put in there, and I didn't bring any out here. So, but I do want to mention this because it is very important. Whenever you put a seed in a bag, you want to mark it. Like you can use something preferably plastic, and you want to use a permanent marker, because the water and everything, the sun, it will, you know, fade. So make sure that you mark your baskets, or however you want to do that, your bags, because trust me, you will forget. And then once they start growing and you see the leaf, then you can probably figure out what it is. But there's a lot of them that look a lot alike. So unless you really know your veggies, trust me, it will be a lot easier if you just mark the bags with what's in them.
That's true. A friend of mine who actually does have a huge garden, he has been growing keen garlic for years, and he told me about it last year. I came home and told Missy about it. We got online, went to their website, and they have such a variety of garlic. it's almost overwhelming when you look at the list of varieties.
It really is. I
Yeah.
never knew there that many existed.
I didn't either. But we wound up ordering some, and babe, tell them, was it good?
It's the best garlic, and y'all know if you follow me us, you know I cook a lot, and
Yeah.
I've cooked for years. It is the best garlic I have ever used,
It is
tasted,
so good.
smelled.
You plant it before winter, but you don't harvest it until the next June. We planted these in September. You can see how they've grown even through the winter. And in a couple of 3 months, when June rolls around, they'll be ready to harvest, and it is so good.
And you talk about easy. Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
You take the actual bulb
Yeah.
and you put it in the ground and you put mulch on it.
Yep.
That's it.
We
And then it's
actually
like,
put
woo-hoo!
leaves. You know,
Yeah, we
we've
did.
got trees here, so there are leaves in the yard in the fall. We just covered the top with leaves, and
And it doesn't even have to be a grow bag. I have some in plant
pots.
pots that I've put my plants in. The
Yeah.
plant is gone. There was soil in it, so I was like, hey, stick one in here.
There you go.
Because you want them as many as you can get.
Yeah, that's so
Because
good.
each one of these is just one. So like in this grow bag, there's two, and there's two there.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you want to plant a lot of them because, well, we do.
Yeah.
We go through.
We go through some
garden.
garlic. Missy puts garlic in everything,
So
which
good
is
for
fine
you.
with me because it is so good.
And it's good for you.
I wanted to say real quick, these are the grow bags. They just come, what was it, about
That
12?
was 12, but you can get them in all different numbers.
Different counts. We got a pack of 12. They come folded up like this. A great little investment. They weren't expensive.
No.
We'll put a link to it if you want to give them a try, but we've really enjoyed the grow bags.
Yes, and we just want to encourage you that, you know, just embrace where you are and, you know, do what you can with what you have, because it really does not take a lot of space to grow some vegetables in bags like these. And like I said, as long as you have sunshine, whether it's a deck, a porch, a patio, your yard, there is a place that you can find where you can have access to your own, not just fresh vegetables, but your own, because that makes a difference.
I got to say this, with you saying that, hon, to your point, it is so cool.
It really is.
It is so cool to see these plants begin to sprout and grow and leaf and then yield, and you're just like,
Yeah.
God is awesome.
It's amazing because even when, say, you are out of town or whatever and you didn't water them or you forget or whatever, it's amazing how they want to grow.
Oh, yeah. They want to live.
thrive.
Yeah.
And they will try very hard. So you might say, oh, I don't have a green thumb. It's okay. Trust me. You can do this. And just a little plug here.
Uh-oh.
Might have to have Kyle zoom in because guess what my little shirt says?
Plant more, worry less.
This is on our store.
Wisdom for the ages.
Yeah. Oh, it helps me. Like this is therapy. Like
Yeah.
gardening and all this planting is therapy for me. So go check out our t-shirts. We have some t-shirts, some caps, some coffee mugs, and that was just a little plug there.
There you go. They're cool.
But I
too.
love this top. So
Yeah,
I think
I do
this little
too.
pot is so cute.
I like it. I like it. Well, that's it. Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, share. We have a new blog post coming out every week on semihomesteaders.com. We have a devotion every week on semihomesteaders.com. Our shop, you can get to our shop through semihomesteaders.com. Did I say semihomesteaders.com?
I think you did.
Okay.
I just wanted to encourage you to plant you some veggies and grow you some produce.
Ditto.
As always,
Lord bless you.